Hey guys, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to another Taylor Swift video. This one is called Why Do You Hate Taylor Swift? Taylor Side. I didn't necessarily hate Taylor Swift. For me, when something gets extremely popular or is commercialized to the point of seeing it everywhere, hearing it everywhere, I just kind of lose interest. And so for the last decade, I didn't really listen to any of her music. If it was on the radio or if I heard it in a store, I would be like, oh yeah, that's Taylor Swift. But then I would just kind of blank out and just go about whatever I was doing. I mentioned that I got back into listening to her after my friend Steven talked about her album and also did a deep dive analysis on her video for Cardigan. So since then, I've listened to Folklore. I still have not listened to Evermore. I will be listening to Evermore as soon as possible. I just want to sort of appreciate and love Folklore for a little bit longer before I listen to something else. That's just how I operate. He suggested this video as another one for me to react to, and it's called Why Do You Hate Taylor Swift? Taylor Side. So let's just see what this is about. I have no idea.
If a guy shares his experience in writing, he's brave. If a woman shares her experience in writing, she's oversharing. And she's over-emotional, or she might be crazy, or watch out, she'll write a song about you.
Yeah, well, there is that.
But that joke is so old, and it's...
A woman can write music about her experiences and not be looked down on and not looked at as someone who like she said, oh, well, be careful. She might write a song about you. I mean, if that's what she does, she writes about her life. That's what most singer-songwriters do. They write about their life. Just most of the time, songwriters are writing, songs about their experiences and someone else is singing the song. Taylor writes her own music and performs it. So obviously, it's her life experience. It's like being a comedian. If you're going to go hang out with a comedian, anything you do or say, it could probably be good material for them. So, I mean, that's how I'm seeing it. Like, if you were writing songs and you were just writing songs, you weren't singing them, you were writing them and getting them to other people, no one would care. But just like Kelly Clarkson would also take like her angst out in her songwriting, and you can hear it in her songs. And people say the same thing about her, oh, she might write a song about you. But, I mean, isn't that the best revenge, though, to, write about your life experience, especially if somebody did you wrong, write a song about it, or even like an entire album about it, hello, Adele, and capitalize on that, make that album go diamond, platinum, whatever the highest rank is, win Grammys for it, and, basically you build like your own empire off of, writing songs about your life. I mean,
It's coming from a place of such sexism.
I think that as far as songwriting goes, I've been essentially opening up my diary for the world to read since I was 16. So that's an interesting kind of vulnerability to have when you are telling your life story and revealing your life narrative and all the feelings you had about those things happening to you to people who are going to understand it and see your side of it and kind of see, look at what you're saying and say, I get that, I feel that too. But you're also revealing your life and your true emotions to people who just kind of want to take you down and make fun of you. If you make the joke first and you make the joke better, then it's kind of like it's not as funny when other people call you a name.
But how do you feel when people say that you write about boyfriends?
It's interesting because I think as a songwriter, you have your fans who have been keeping up with your music since before you were known. You know, my first album came out when I was 16. So I would write about my life as I saw it, as I felt it. And then what happens is as you get more successful, which you're lucky if that happens, you have more and more people paying attention to what you're doing. And you've been doing it the same way your entire career as a songwriter, but all of a sudden the perspective has changed. And they use kind of you writing songs about your life as a way to play detective. And for me, I have a really strict personal policy that I never name names. And so anybody saying that a song is about a specific person is purely speculating.
Okay, maybe in her work now, but I remember an interview from her. This was like toward the beginning of her career, she said that if she writes a song about a person, she wants them to know that it's about them. So in Teardrops on My Guitar, the person's name is Drew. The guy's name in real life is Drew. And Hey Stephen was also about a guy named Stephen. Dear John was about John Mayer. Like, so in songs where she doesn't actually name drop a person, I can see her wanting to keep that privacy. But in some of the songs, she like just say their name, like in the examples that I just gave. She wants to keep some sort of like boundary between, you know, who it's about, what the situation was, or whatever. But in some of her songs, she, you know, just flat out calls these people out. So I don't know if that's like a new policy that she's put in place for herself where she doesn't give out specific names or details, but in the past, you know, the music that I am familiar with, she would name drop in those songs. So
they're going to do that, but the most important thing for me is maintaining artistic integrity, which means as a songwriter, I still continue to write about my life.
Yeah.
I could very well water it down, and I could just say, like, you know, the sky is blue, and now we're dancing, and we're in a club, and it's great. But I just don't think
I love that song.
I know it was a #1 hit, but
no, but people they can sense honesty. You can tell in your music. You can hear.
You're going to have people who are going to see the depth from which you approached a song. The fact that you put, you know, your real emotions into it, and that's valuable, and that's good, and that's real.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have people who are going to say, oh, you know, like she just writes songs about her ex-boyfriends. And I think, frankly, that's a very sexist angle to take. No one says that about Ed Sheeran. No one says it about Bruno Mars. They're all writing songs about their exes, their current girlfriends, their love life, and no one raises a red flag there.
It's true.
Yeah, it's done with a wink. And what's fun about music...
Again, they can write their songs about whoever they want. I honestly, I haven't really paid attention to what they say about this person or that person. I do think that females in the business do get a lot more of the magnifying glass put on them. I said all I wanted to say about that earlier, so just back it up. I'll put a timestamp down there.
Music is that, you know, things that you can write kind of as a joke, a little bit like with a little humor in them. Most people get it. Like most people get that like Shake It Off is a funny, like it's funny. Like I'm not actually rapping seriously in that song. Like it's done with like
I got it.
exactly. Like but some people are like, "Oh my god, why is she trying to be a rapper?" You're like, "You don't get it. Come on." They're like,
I
"She
never
looks
thought
super
that. I just
awkward
knew she was
dancing in
having
this video."
fun.
It's like, oh my god. It's like you can't read comments.
That whole video and that whole song was like a parody, and it was just someone who wasn't even a Taylor Swift fan at the time, even I knew that was a joke, and she was just having fun. Come on.
Heat for holding a cat a certain way on the streets of New York.
That cat loves being held like that.
I know, but you can't do anything without somebody at some point on some web thread saying, well, this isn't right for the cat to be out like that. It's like
The cat loves it.
The cat loves
Here's the thing.
Is that Olivia?
Yeah, that's Olivia. Yeah, you're right, exactly. When everything that you do is debated upon, scrutinized, questioned, everybody feels entitled to ask you why you did everything. There are days where I feel really, really okay with that, honestly.
Yeah.
But then there are days where I just am kind of overwhelmed by all of it, and I think that that's okay. I try to encourage my fans that they don't have to feel confident every day. They don't have to feel happy every day. They don't have to feel pretty every day. They don't have to feel wanted every day. That they shouldn't put added extra pressure on themselves to feel happy when they're not.
Yeah.
You know, I think being honest with yourself emotionally is really
We
important.
don't live just in a celebrity takedown culture. We live in a takedown culture. People will find anything about you and twist it to where it's weird or wrong or annoying or strange or bad. You have to not only live your life in spite of people who don't understand you, you have to have more fun than they do. If you learn to laugh at certain things and not take everything so seriously, if something hurts your feelings, that's valid, and you're allowed to let that happen. But I just kind of like, yeah, I do dance awkwardly, and I'm having more fun than you. At the end of the day, you just have to try to find a way to stay sane. Like, there's a balance to it all, and I have bad days where I focus on it, and I feel like there's nothing that I do that's right, and no matter how hard I try, you're gonna have people that just can't.
So I know what she's trying to say as far as like feeling like people scrutinize and question everything she does. My ring light is starting to die. That's why the lighting is kind of getting a little crappy. I do understand what she's trying to say. I do think that there is like a small percentage of entertainers, male and female, who get followed and questioned and almost borderline harassed by either paparazzi or, just people in general. A lot of the ones that are in these small groups of people that are getting questioned about every single thing that they do are the ones who are the most outspoken. They have the most, polarizing opinions, good or bad, right or wrong. And so they are the ones who will get, the most of this, of what she's talking about. And I think, I don't know, I don't know much of Taylor's personal life, so I don't know what all she's talking about. The only thing I know of is how many boyfriends she's had in the past. But, that's her business. Just like how she was saying, like, someone was writing about how she was holding a cat a certain way. Like, why does that matter? If she's not abusing the cat, just let it go. Just let it go. If the cat looks happy, if the cat looks like it feels safe, just leave her alone.
Find one good thing about you. But focusing on those people is the quickest way to lead an unhappy life.
So on one hand, I'm very aware of who
Okay,
I actually...
one more thing before I continue, because I'm going to forget. When I wasn't paying attention to Taylor Swift that much, I wasn't listening to her music. I wasn't really, she was not on my music radar at all. I always appreciated the fact that she wrote her own music. She, I think does she produce her own music too? I know she works with producers, but is she also like an executive producer, a co-producer on her albums? I think she is. But she writes all of her songs. Like, she comes up with the concept. She usually comes up with the music video, I think. I think I've seen that in a couple interviews where she said, oh yeah, the concept was mine, or I came up with this idea, blah, 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 blah. She is an artistic genius. I always did give her that credit. And I always respected her for having that ability, because I'm a singer, but my songwriting capabilities is not there. She does it. She does all of it. She does all of it. So even when I wasn't paying attention to her, even when I wasn't really like on the Taylor Swift train, I still understood that she is a real artist. She would always write her own music. She would always, it was all her. And I always did give her credit for that.
So on one hand, I'm very aware of who I actually am, but I'm also very aware of what people are saying about me. And I think in order to be prepared, you have to know those two things.
Well, it always comes from a place of storytelling. Like I always want to write from a place of kind of like a diary. And even if I'm making a pop album, I'm not ever going to make a pop album that's just like, gonna go to the club and dance, you know, like, and not have really much of a reason for writing that particular song. Like, I don't ever want people to be like, oh, like, you know, the beat of that song is kind of kind of cool and like I can dance to it, but like I don't really know what it's about, or I don't know what she wrote that about. There's always, I think coming from Nashville, there's always going to be an element of storytelling in what I do, even if it's pop music, even if it makes you want to dance. I also want it to kind of make you think too.
Yeah, that's the power of music. It's wonderful.
You know,
That's another thing with Taylor. Some of her lyrics are pretty deep, and I have to sort of like try to figure out what she's trying to say. And that's something else that I like about her as a songwriter.
I think when people say that they like one of your albums, like when people told me that like Red was their favorite album I'd done, I didn't take that as, so I should make that again. I took that as, great, awesome. Now I want to make them like this new album just as much, if not more, than the last album, but I want them to like it for different reasons.
As far as just kind of actual real life accomplishments, I think my connection with my fans and the fact that they care about lyrics and things like that, I think that's what I'm most proud of.
That was very interesting. So that was only part 1. Apparently there's a part 2 to this. So I will probably add that later. That might be next week's video. Not sure. But I think I've said all I wanted to say in regards to this first half. So I will be putting the second one out very soon. So if that is something you're interested in, and if you like these kinds of videos where I react to things, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified when I have new videos coming out. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.